Welcome to Tenn Talk, the podcast where campus voices turn into career insights.
We sit down with professors, coaches, and campus leaders to bring you real stories, honest advice, and practical insights that help you succeed in college and beyond.
Whether you're exploring career paths, looking for motivation, or just trying to figure college out, we're here to help you along the way.
I'm Harrison.
And I'm Luke.
And together we're here to bring you the conversations that matter from a student perspective.
Let's get into the episode.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. This is our third episode of Tenn Talk. My name is Harrison. This is Luke. Today we have on
Lindsay Mahoney.
All right, let's get to it. First, I wanted to get a little background about yourself. Kind of introduce yourself for the episode, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Lindsay Mahoney. I serve as the assistant department head in the management and entrepreneurship department and a senior lecturer. I've been at the Haslam College since 2016 and was hired into this role, although it's certainly evolved over time as the college and the university have grown a lot. I moved here from Washington State. So I started my career in industry and have done a variety of things that eventually led me to, this career in higher ed, which is definitely the best job that I've had.
How do you like your time so far?
It's wonderful. I really mean it when I say this is the best job that I've had, other than working for Baskin-Robbins. Serving ice cream to people was pretty good, but in high school.
Good experience.
That was great experience, but for a truly professional job, I love working with young people. It is something that I did, making this pivot into higher ed was something I did very intentionally, leaving industry, and I want to just keep going.
Was it something you saw yourself doing when you graduated college, I guess?
It is not. I've always liked teaching in some capacity. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that roles like mine existed, honestly, when I was in college. I was a philosophy undergraduate major and nothing against, I loved it. I learned so much about how to think about problems and talk about things in a very logical way. It's really hard to get a real job with that as your undergraduate credential. And so I didn't know. And so I ended up with a very non-linear path after graduation. I worked for a heavy construction equipment rental company. And I learned all about that and learned about sales and learned about, customer experiences and things like that. Then I went to work for the Hanford Nuclear Reservation in subcontracts. And I joke that I would translate engineer into English when writing and negotiating contracts with subcontractors. And I got to work on all these really crazy projects related to nuclear contamination from the Manhattan Project years and years ago, right? And then I went to work for Amazon and I got to do all the big tech stuff. And I really learned a lot from all of those positions, but it wasn't giving me the self-fulfillment that I needed. And so I'd say the thing that is consistent through all of this is certainly the business side of things, but also teaching, communicating with people. And fundamentally, I just want people to get what they want out of life and to succeed. And so I said, okay, I quit. And I figured out eventually I got this role here.
That's great.
So why the management and entrepreneurship department?
It really started with entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I found when I was working on my MBA, I found entrepreneurship to be very, very compelling. And something in particular about that is I think that entrepreneurship is one of those things that can be very transformative for individuals, but also have a tremendous amount of economic impact, as well as really solving serious, significant problems in the world, right? And it can do all of those things in ways that, just going and working for a company can't, you can't do as easily, right? But every company eventually started with, and at some point started with an entrepreneur at the same time. So, right. So I found that concept to be very compelling. I tried to do some of that myself through a more social entrepreneurship and started a local food co-op in the community that I was living in. And that was very interesting too. And I said, okay, well, I want to learn more and more about this. But then I also had all of this management experience and strategy experience. And so when I came to UT, I ended up teaching strategy. I teach that in our professional MBA program right now. This is actually the first year that I've got to teach anything related to entrepreneurship specifically.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You obviously have a lot of experience. What's something you've seen in the job market, and then also as a teacher, that you see is a very important trait that you need in today's, I guess, market that you don't learn in college?
I think, there's those things that's a really good question. There's things that you learn that are consistent, right? Be a good communicator, be professional, follow up with people, work hard, do all of those things. Those are givens. The things that I have found that have been beneficial to me, particularly in this like kind of nonlinear way, and starting with a credential that like there are rooms that I was in that I shouldn't have been in because of what was on my resume, right? And the things that really helped me is learning how to be influential when you're not the most experienced person in the room, right? To be able to speak with confidence, and not just confidence, but be able to back it up with information, be curious, ask questions, and be bold enough to try to be influential and make recommendations, even when you're not being explicitly asked to do so. And so that to me has been something that you don't necessarily get that kind of training anywhere. You just have to give yourself the permission to say, I believe in what I'm trying to say. This is why I think that you should believe me too. And that can be really powerful, right? You're going to work for a lot of managers that are in their position for good reason. But once you get into roles like that, your responsibilities are very broad, right? And you're really busy. And when your instructors now might say like teaching you how to write an executive summary or, give an elevator pitch, that's legit because you really need to get to the point quickly because they're thinking about 37 other things, right? And so they're not seeing everything that you're seeing necessarily in your own role. And so if you can go to them and say, here's why I want you to pay attention to the next words that are coming out of my mouth, right?
Yeah.
That's really powerful. And it's a hard thing to do well, but it's definitely something that you can learn to do well. You just have to be ready to practice it.
And how do you think students get into these rooms where maybe not that they don't belong, but rooms that they can grow the most in?
A big thing to me is one, finding out what it is that you want to do and doing everything that you can to try to make that opportunity a reality for yourself. And that means, so it starts by identifying it and then trying to figure out, what do I need to get there? And if I don't have those things now, can I get them? And also, who's going to make the decision to let me in that position, that opportunity, that room or not, right? And how can I go and talk to that person? So one of the things that I have found is very helpful, and you can use this, I encourage you to use this line, is reach out to people that you want to learn from, that you think will give you solid mentorship type of advice, and send them a cold email and say, can I borrow 15 to 30 minutes of your time to learn more about you and your career and how you got to where you are? Everybody has 15 minutes. Those conversations, and people love to talk about themselves, right? And so doing that will most of the time they'll say yes, and either you won't hear back from them. Okay. But if you do, they will say yes. And those conversations will often turn into 30, 45, 90 minutes because they want to help young people get what they want to do. And so it's being bold enough to say, I'm trusting yourself that you can get that opportunity that you want, and then just figuring out the windy path to it and using in the best way, right? Leveraging other people to help you get that, because people really do want to help.
Okay. And going back to your full career, what jobs or opportunities do you think taught you the most, or that grew you the most?
honestly, it's the ones that I didn't really know what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
That I went into that. So, for example, when I was working at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation. So this is in like southeastern Washington State, and it's a sister site to like Oak Ridge National Lab and Y-12 and the work that they do there. And I didn't know anything about this. Like, it was in the community that I went to high school in, and so I knew that it existed, but my parents weren't scientists. Like, I didn't know anything really about this work. I ended up getting the job and just quickly, I'm a fast learner and I want to learn about things. And so I just started asking questions and asked, hey, can I go to this meeting also? And doing those kinds of things. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, she's maybe capable of more than I anticipated or more than I knew by looking at this resume. And so it then created these opportunities for me to grow. And then I started learning about how to read engineering documents and how to translate that into, like, you know, many, many $1 million contracts, and then what that process was like. And it was just by saying, yeah, I can probably figure out some of this, and just going with it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You mentioned it's important to know necessarily what room you want to be in. At what point did you feel like you were in the right space for you?
Honestly, it's now. So I absolutely love what I'm doing. Like, I love getting to talk to you guys, to students. I care very much about you and your friends and the people I don't know and the people I do, like getting access to the opportunities that you feel define success for you. That's really, really important to me. So, and this comes from a very personal place, and not to get too sappy or anything, but, you know, my mother didn't graduate high school. She had a very challenging childhood, had me when she was 20, right? Imagine having like a 2-year-old right now, right? My dad did graduate from high school, took a few college classes, but he was 21 when they had me. Like, it was really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for her childhood and like lack of support that she had a really challenging adult life too. She passed away when she was 54 after like serious addiction issues. Like,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that, of course, like impacted my childhood, my sister's childhoods, and things like that too, right? And I'm quite confident that had she had the support and advocacy as a young person, her life would have looked very different. And so that's always like kind of coming to that own realization for me, was like, oh, this is really important. Like, it's not just about learning about, you know, financial statements and marketing and business plans. Like, that's all important also, but really defining, like, what do you want to get out of this? And like being ready to give yourself the permission to go and do that. Like, that's what I want you to hear, what I want your friends to hear, and know that there is certainly me, but a tremendous amount of advocacy for you at this place. And that's why this is so fulfilling. Yeah.
Looking back, do you wish you had made the move sooner, or you like the lessons you learned?
That's a really good question. I am really thankful for the industry experience that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot through those experiences. I think it also gives me a perspective in the classroom that I wouldn't have. It gives me a perspective. It gives me a way to communicate with employers and industry partners that I wouldn't have if I had not had that industry experience. So I think and I'm glad that industry experience was as diverse as it was over the 10 years or so before coming into higher education. So yeah, I think I'm glad that I pivoted when I did, but I am thankful for the opportunities that I had before coming here.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
And across all the jobs you have, what skills do you think are the most transferable between all jobs, in your opinion?
Being a good communicator.
Okay.
Doing what you say you're going to do when you're going to do it. Having influence, even though you might not have positional authority, right? People tend to think of being in management as being like the boss, and you can be a boss without being the boss, right? Like you can, being able to like push things forward that you believe to be good things to do and influence people along, like to be part of your team and things to do good work together, like that's gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some common mistakes or like misconceptions you see students make going through college and then entering the job market?
That's a good question too. I think that I get the sense, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll say this. I hear from a lot of employers that people coming out of college want a bigger job than they're actually ready for, or that is available, right? And you say, oh, I've done all this stuff, and you have. Like, I'm so impressed by the things that you guys are doing, and I mean you and like the big you. And so, but I think it's being ready to take an entry level, like truly take an entry level position, and then grow from there. I think it's also possibly, I think that it's something too, like having a real job is a lot of work. It's like very, especially doing it in like a really solid way. And that could be having a real job in a corporate environment or being an entrepreneur. It's a tremendous amount of work. And so being ready for that also, to say like, it's very different from, you do a lot of work as a student. It's a very different kind of work as an employee.
Okay.
That's great advice. As somebody I'm a senior, so I'm looking for jobs right now.
Yeah.
It's hard knowing like which roles that I might even have a chance at, because it's just job listings. So you're just all over the place right now.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because this is a particularly challenging job market.
Yeah.
It just is. And AI is making that more complicated. And so one of the things that I really encourage you, both of you, right, and your peers, right, is learn how to leverage AI to do the other kinds of things that we've been talking about today. Because those people who are really good at leveraging AI are going to be at the top of the list for the limited number of jobs that are available. Additionally, grow and leverage your network. Get to know as many people who know other people who can say like, I think that Luke is awesome. You should talk to him because I know you're recruiting for this position. Harrison is an awesome guy. You should really talk with him. I think he'd be a really good fit for the role you're trying to recruit for. Like, people want to help you, but they need to know you in order to do that. And there are so many students that are very, very qualified that are applying for a much smaller set of jobs than have existed in the recent past.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, take really.
Okay.
Can I borrow 15 to 30 minutes of your time to learn more about you? That's the golden ticket.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think during this time, especially for juniors and seniors looking for jobs and everything, it can get pretty stressful. So how do you stay motivated during stressful or uncertain times?
The biggest, it's hard. Fully transparently, like it's hard. Like things can be pretty frustrating, right? The thing that I try to remind myself to come back to is fundamentally, what am I trying to accomplish? What's that big vision in the future that I'm trying to work toward? and there's going to be frustration along the way, and just accepting that and saying, okay, I'm going to pivot here. I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to talk to that person a little bit differently next time, right? So that although it might take a little bit longer, ultimately I'm trying to get to this thing, right? And so I think for you, in the, it's getting frustrated with whether it's jobs or schoolwork or just the pressures of life or whatever it is, you have all kinds of frustrations and those aren't going to stop ever, is just really looking ahead and saying, why am I doing any of this? What's most true to me? And like, okay, that it sort of reinforces like why I'm doing this, and that helps.
Are there any other habits that are involved with that you think have helped you become successful?
You mean like
Like
doing
maybe
yoga
daily habits,
yeah.
or you talked about
Sure.
networking with people and asking for their time.
Yeah.
Anything similar to that?
Yeah. I think one thing that I have tried to get better at is actually taking time off.
Okay.
Like literally like putting my phone, if you look at my phone, it's gray. I went to grayscale so that it was less appealing. I did it over spring break. And it's helped.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think, take like actually saying, I'm not working today. I'm going to close my laptop. I'm going to put it in another room. Like, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not answering emails. That's really nice. And I almost never, ever do that. I also try to socialize when I'm feeling stressed out and like talk to other people. Mm-hmm. Like, sometimes it just is really helpful to vent, like, and to vent to people that know kind of what you're talking about, and sometimes not, right? I have a great friend group in my neighborhood, and, sometimes I'll just kind of dump on them, like, this is really frustrating me at work or, something else. And they don't have the context for that. They don't work here, but it just feels so much better because, And so the social element of that too.
That's great.
Yeah. Don't drink too much coffee. Yeah. I'm really bad at that. But
we're on the come up with that.
It doesn't help.
We're slowly getting addicted to coffee right now.
Yeah.
I'm not slowly. I'm probably already addicted.
Oh, I know. I'm a black coffee drinker. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't necessarily help with being less frustrated. Yeah.
I gotta have it in my
Yeah.
This is kind of a pull from your teaching, but what makes emotional intelligence so important of a skill?
I think that emotional intelligence is really important because it not only helps you understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling those things, but it also helps you understand how others might be feeling and why they might be feeling those things. Management or influence requires working with other people, and getting good work done with other people and through other people, right? Mm-hmm. And if you can't understand how somebody is feels and responds, you're not going to communicate well with them, which means that you're not going to get good work done the way that it should get done, right? And so that's, to me, it helps you connect with people so much better. And that's good in a professional environment. It's good in a personal environment. It makes you feel better as an individual because you understand yourself better. That's why I think emotional intelligence is so important.
That's good. Would you say the struggles in the corporate setting are similar to the setting you're in now from a professional standpoint?
Yes and no. Higher ed is a different kind of it's a different kind of industry, mm-hmm. right? Because I've heard it described by another faculty member as, all faculty are kind of like independent contractors in a lot of ways mm-hmm. that are working in this pretty big bureaucratic organization, mm-hmm. right? And that's a weird combination, right? Yeah. It's a cool combination because people get to do a lot of interesting work that personally motivates them, whether it's in research or in the classroom or standing up programs and things like that you wouldn't necessarily have the autonomy to do in a larger, purely corporate environment. But it does have a slower pace in higher ed. there's a lot of structure in how decisions are made, and there's a concept called shared governance where, everybody has a voice and a vote, and that can slow progress down. That in industry, when I talk with industry partners, sometimes I have to set expectations like, okay, this is going to take a while to implement, but hang in there, like we're moving forward, right? It's just, higher ed doesn't necessarily move at the speed of business and that's okay, right? But you just got to make sure that we're all on the same page about what to expect.
Yeah. So kind of going back to your teaching, what is one or multiple topics that you think you're most passionate about teaching or you enjoy teaching the most?
That's great. I am currently teaching ENT 250, entrepreneurial problem solving and innovation, and it is wonderful. I love it. This is the first time that I've taught like a purely entrepreneurship related course, and it's the first time also that I've taught freshmen. It's not only freshmen, but it is intended to be a freshman facing class. Everybody should register for this. And it really gives people the exposure of kind of what entrepreneurship kind of looks and feels like. And then, hopefully people are interested and want to take more of our entrepreneurship classes, right? And in that class, one of the things that I really want students to hear is that it's great to have good ideas, right? But one of my favorite quotes ever from Thomas Edison, vision without execution is hallucination, right? So it's learning how to take that good idea and then do the work to make it a reality, and then keep working at that so that it grows into something that's truly solving the problem that you set out to solve in the first place. And so I love talking about this because I think it's so important. It's the kind of thing that really transforms those ideas into something really, really impactful in the world, right? And so I love talking about that. I could talk about that all the time. And so that's also why I really like teaching strategy. Strategy is kind of then the how of getting to that big picture, right? I haven't taught, we had management 336 together, organizational behavior, and I haven't taught that since the spring.
Really? Okay.
But in that class, I love talking about, influence, and I love talking about emotional intelligence.
I remember management styles as well.
Management styles. Yep.
What would you say your management style is?
Oh, that's a good question. I think my management style is, I like to hire and work with really good, like people who really know how to do good work and take that seriously so that they can have the autonomy to do the work their way, right? I'm not into micromanagement. Like, this is not how I am. I want to make sure that progress is happening and it's organized and predictable and things like that, but I'm not going to get in the weeds on how the work is getting done. I think I also really try to help people see the big picture of why it is that we do the work that we do, right? Most people come into higher education because they really care about education, they care about students, and kind of keeping that at the forefront of, we're here for students so that students get the skills and training and resources and advocacy that they need then to go be really great.
I had one question real quick.
Yeah.
You've given us a lot of great tips for students, the viewers, so they're going to be appreciative. What is just one key thing you want to leave the students with that are watching? Like something to stand out in the classroom, on a job interview, or just in a new job that they're starting or trying to get? Something important that you want to leave.
Don't be afraid to be bold.
Okay.
Give yourself the permission to be bolder than you feel comfortable. And that doesn't mean like loud. That doesn't mean obnoxious or, needy or anything like that. It means allow yourself to be a big thinker, right? To ask to participate in things that you wouldn't necessarily just be naturally invited to participate in, right? Try to set up meetings with people that you wouldn't normally meet with, right? Be bold.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we'll wrap it up because I think we're about to hit 30 minutes.
Okay.
If you could go back to your 22-year-old self, what's something you'd tell you, or you'd tell yourself, or a couple things?
That's a good question. I think I would tell myself, like, you don't, it's okay that you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's okay that, like, it feels, I remember feeling like I had to, like, by the age of 25, I was supposed to, like, have everything figured out or something. Like, I was supposed to have like the best job and, like, be solidly married and, like, all of these things. And then it was like, it took a while to realize, like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's actually fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's, so, I mean, I'm 42, right? It's been 20 years since I was 22, and a lot has happened in 20 years. And 20 years felt like an eternity when I was 22. Like, you're 42, like, you're so old. Like, that's so old. But it's like, it goes by so fast, and so much can happen, and, like, let it happen. And it's okay. Like, there's plenty of time to figure things out. Like, there's plenty of time. It's going to be fine. It's going to be
That's
fine.
nice to hear.
That's
Like,
awesome.
actually, it's going to be fine. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll close this out here. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for
great.
inviting me.
Thanks everyone who is listening. And yeah, this is Tenn Talk. I'm Luke Hein. This is Harrison. And thank you, Lindsay, again.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you
Thank you.
so much for inviting me. This has
Yeah.
been really fun.
This was awesome.